Hello, you just reached MRN Crew Call, presented by Hercules Tires and Grunt Style Apparel. We're currently tying up phone lines and burning through cell minutes to get you closer to the guys on top of the boxes and over the wall down on Pit Road. Thank you for holding. You are now being connected to your hosts, Sammi Joe Francis and Rocko Williams.
PSA for Nerf gun awareness. Welcome to MRN Crew Call, presented by Hercules Tires and Grunt Style Apparel. I will be your hostess with the mostest. I'm Sammi Joe Francis.
And I'm Rocko Williams.
And we have two guests in the studio. We thought we'd double the trouble today.
Yes, as usual. We're here with the pit crew coaches from Roush Fenway Racing, Brad Robison. Brad Robison. Did I say that right?
We just had this discussion off camera.
And Scott Bowen from
Yes.
Roush Fenway Racing. Slow clap. Boom. So glad to have y'all in studio for us today.
Appreciate it.
Today, guys.
Thought you were going to say slaw clap, which
Slaw
would
clap.
also,
Whatever. It's good.
All right. Well, it's an exciting time in racing because
Yes,
it's
it is.
playoffs.
Yes, it is.
What are we thinking? Talladega just happened.
Yes, Talladega.
What is everybody's review of Talladega?
Well, I'll start off first with the review. I mean, typically when you go to Talladega, you expect a certain type of race, and as you guys can attest, super speedway racing, as it relates to pit crew, slower stops, ill-functioning setups. When I say that, I mean it's like the car is not conducive to fast pit stops, because I don't like to say this, but pit stops don't really matter, but they do. You know, they don't matter till you really mess up and you lose the draft. But it's a race where when I was pitting the car, I don't know if this is the same mentality, but I would look at this as almost a week off, especially when you go in there knowing that the front tire might not drop out. You're double pumping right and left sides.
Why is that?
Well, being that the car is so aerodynamically dependent, you want the best setup to maximize the aerodynamics of that racetrack. You're going so fast, so you want it built like a missile almost, where you want it sunken over the tires. It's just not. It's not conducive to doing fast pit stops. You know.
It's not the usual.
Absolutely. I think it's a different mindset that the crews have to go into the race. It's not so much speed as it is, from our standpoint, is going in being clean, efficient, no penalties, and get the adjustments in the race car that the crew chief calls for.
How difficult is that to go from the mindset of going, go, 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 we got to get the quickest, to, all right, slow and steady?
It's a different mindset. Like Rocko said, it's almost a day off from a pit crew standpoint, physically, but not mentally. Mentally, you still have to be sharp to make sure that you're not making any mistakes.
How do you slow it down? I feel like if you're in the heat of the moment, it's hard to go, okay, let me just.
Well, it's all about making no mistakes. I mean, you really can't gain any spots on pit road, and even if you do, as soon as they get back out on the track, I mean, they can gain or lose them so quickly. So it's all about no penalties, making sure the car is full, making sure whatever adjustments are needed gets done as a pit crew.
So is this a least favorite or a favorite?
I mean, if you win the race, it's your favorite. If you don't do well,
Touché.
But from a pit crew standpoint, and even from a driver standpoint, I think it's all about perseverance. You know what I mean? It's a long race. They're always long races, both at Talladega and Daytona, being very similar. It's all about persevering through, all the adjustments, and you'll do well at certain points of the race, and you won't be doing so well at certain points of the race. But it's all about doing the best you can and putting yourself in position at the end of the race,
not a sprint,
to give yourself a chance to win.
Yeah.
This is coming from Brad. Not only is he a pit coach at Roush Fenway Racing, he's also an overwall performer as well. He is the jack man on the.
I believe I drew some artwork on
yes, you did.
Listen, I couldn't draw Jack, okay? It's just a little too hard. So I drew a bottle with Jack on it. And then you, kind of. Yeah.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah, I was there, working in the trenches just like all the other pit crew guys. So, and just like I said, we went through some ups and downs throughout the day, but our goal is just to, no matter what, still be there at the end.
And which car are you talking about?
The 17, I'm sorry.
In the 17, which they finished third. And they had a lot of adversity. I was watching the race, and they started, there's about 2 or 3 times they drove sub 20, from 30th all the way up. And that just shows you how quickly you can go from the back to the front at a place like Talladega. So y'all fought through a lot of adversity.
Sure.
Y'all made a ton of adjustments, but
Sure.
it had to be pretty refreshing to see, like, at the end of the race, hey, we finished 3rd place, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing this a long time. That was probably one of the races I worked the hardest on
How
pit
so?
road.
What do you mean?
If you were paying attention to the race, we did a lot of adjustments. Ricky wasn't happy at times, so we tried our best to get him in something that was comfortable for him. But at the end, it all paid off, like you said. We finished 3rd, so it was all worth it at the end.
Well, this entire show is going to be worth it if you stay tuned. We'll be back with more MRN Crew Call right after this.
Whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules Tires will get you there. Whether you're running on dirt or running a job, our dependable, high-quality tires are the perfect fit for your needs. For unmatched value, selection, and warranty with industry-leading road hazard protection, there's only one choice: Hercules Tires. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com or call 800-677-9535. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
Grunt style. The American fighting spirit is in everything we make. We are 500 patriots and veterans strong, bringing clothing manufacturing back to the United States of America. Always moving forward, never retreating, never giving up. We are Grunt Style, and this we'll defend. Get yours at gruntstyle.com.
The roar of motorcycles takes over Daytona International Speedway, October 18th through the 21st, with the return of Biketoberfest. Racing action features top riders from CCS and Azra as they take on Daytona's challenging 3.51-mile road course. Stroll through the area's largest motorcycle marketplace and enjoy Saturday's Hot Leathers fashion show and bikini contest in Harley-Davidson Thunder Alley. Marketplace admission and parking are free. For race tickets, call 1-800-PIT-SHOP or visit DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com.
Thank you for listening to our program. If you like what you hear, tell your friends. If you don't, tell them we're Wings Nation. You're being transferred back to Sammi Joe and Rocko.
Welcome back to MRN Crew Call. I'm Sammi Joe Francis.
And I'm Rocko Williams.
We are joined by Scott Bowen and Brad Robison. See?
Yeah,
It's a learning curve. It's a learning curve.
I can't do it.
Just like
Robinson.
Okay, so I was told to draw a cat in the hat.
Oh yeah, I was.
Why did I draw a cat in the hat?
I thought I drew it.
Oh no! We'll give you credit.
Well, representing the cat in the hat himself, Mr. Jack Roush. That was a nickname. I don't really.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know a little bit about that nickname and where it came from?
I don't know where it came from.
Maybe it's the hat he always wears.
I've been around since about 1992, and that's been the nickname.
Well, my cat face does not represent him then. I just drew something really quick. But the hat,
you did good, girl.
It's Dr. Seuss approved. See?
You did really good. You did really good.
Yes. Okay, so
really well, I should say.
Let's get back because we were talking with Brad before about being in the trenches with the guys. That kind of makes you a different kind of coach because you're more of a player's coach. How does that help you relate to the guys on a weekly basis?
So as far as the guys on my crew, on the 17 crew, I like to keep the coaching part of what I do separate, because when you're with the guys, and as you know, when you're with the guys, you just want to be one of the guys. You want to be treated as such. So I keep that separate, especially at the racetrack. But during
you don't bring
week,
your pedestal there.
No, but during the week, I do act as a pit crew coach, mostly for our development teams, which is mostly like in the ARCA and truck levels, some Xfinity, but as far as the Cup teams at Roush Fenway, I don't do much coaching because I'm one of the guys. So, so that's how I help keep it separate.
How do you transition that to give back to those developmental teams to go, all right, look, this is what I'm doing at a Cup level.
Sure.
How does that help you as a coach give that edge that other coaches may not have?
It really just helps me keep things in perspective because constantly from a development level, I'm constantly re-emphasizing to the players about fundamentals and taking your time and breaking things down. Also, while I'm talking about that stuff, I'm almost talking to myself as well.
Yeah.
So it's a constant reminder as to how important fundamentals are and the appreciation that you need to have for being a pit crew guy, because it's a dangerous job. You always got to be thinking about safety. So we constantly talk about safety, sense of awareness, and fundamentals. So.
Let me add on that. It also validates what he's trying to coach to the younger athletes. When they see that the person that's teaching them is actually the person that is actually doing and showing and prove what is being said. You know, it validates everything that you're trying to coach, and I think athletes respond to that, especially younger ones. They're more malleable and they're more impressionable, so they respond to that show and prove type of coaching a lot better, and it's an advantage that an organization has, you know? It's one of the
so how do you guys work together? How do you guys coexist?
Well, I think what you're saying, we really work together a lot from the standpoint. Certainly myself, Cameron Cobb is our jackman coach. We have another player coach, and Kel Uphoff, who is a front tire changer as well. Those guys, what it takes for these guys, the player coaches, is high character. Because ultimately they're training their replacements at some point in their career. So they're high character
did you know
guys.
that?
It's inevitable.
You're hearing it right now. This is official.
But they are, or at least they're training guys to go out into the sport and
compete against them.
Yeah, and have productive careers. So
you know what's unique about that? Scott himself carried tires as well.
I did 2 or 3
NC
years
State
ago.
graduate.
I wish.
NC State graduate, and then talk to us about your career.
Career-wise, I graduated in 1993, and 1992 and 1993 seasons. I went to the racetrack as support for the 16 Wally Dallenbach Jr. with Roush.
Okay.
Got out of college, had a business management degree, administrative 401k plans for about 5 years in a cube. Couldn't stand the cube life. Yes.
That cube life.
Reached back out to some of those contacts and been racing ever since. I guess about 1997. This is my 21st full year.
You've been at Roush a long time as well.
I've been at Roush 15 years.
15
years.
Yes.
That's a long time. What is your favorite part about being a coach?
Dealing with people, the guys, and having an influence over the younger generation to bring them forward and hopefully instill.
And Scott does a very good job, you know, overseeing too. Like he said, I mean, he's basically managing us, player coaches, and we actually act as our own team. You know what I mean? Yeah, everybody says we're picker coaches, but we're our own separate team as well, because we sit in on meetings and we're constantly evaluating not only the pit crews but ourselves, how we can making things better, more efficient.
Yeah. Do you ever go to him if you have an issue or you don't know how to approach or teach something with the developmental?
No, absolutely. I think that Scott and I and the other coaches have a very open relationship from a work standpoint, as to, you know, constantly bouncing ideas off each other. I don't think that we ever, I know that I don't like to just make decisions on my own, you know, so just making sure that all the coaches approve of our decisions before going forward.
Go ahead, Sammi.
No, go for it.
Well, you know what's unique about the situation, and I knew it, but it didn't resonate with me until I hear you guys talking. You guys are unique. You have player coaches all across the board for each position. It's a designated tire changer coach who actually changed tires. Jackman coach who's actually jacked over the wall, and not just jacked, but at a high level.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So that is unique to itself, and that's got to be pretty cool, you know, as far as having that type of representation across your coaching staff.
Sure. I think that there's credibility involved with our whole staff. I mean, we've all done it, like you said, at the highest level that there is at some point in time. And so, myself included, continuing to be a player, I like to lead more by example, especially to the younger guys, than rather just talk about it. I'd like to show it as well. So hopefully there's some merit in that.
What do you think is the toughest part about coaching the younger people? What's the biggest lesson that you could give them looking back? If you could do something over again, hey guys, don't do this. I'm putting you on the spot.
Oh, wow, there's a laundry list of possibilities there. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, I try to look at it as there's a lot of development guys that we have and other teams have that probably won't make it. And that's the unfortunate thing, but at the end of the day, if we can impact them just a little bit on how to, you know, maybe work a little harder or have goals and work to achieve them and just, you know, all in all, just have a way of going about life even after pit crewing. You know, if we just touch them a little bit on how to be good people and know how to work hard, I think that'll go a long way in whatever they decide to do if pit crews don't work out.
I feel like that's very Papa Bear
It
wisdom.
is. Did you hear what he said? He has a lot of guys in the program who probably won't make it, and you recognize that pretty early on. It's safe to say. You know, it's
a competitive field.
Let me ask you this: since I have you guys in the studio, I have the pleasure of going to Central Florida tomorrow, actually, to speak with their football team and recruit athletes for NASCAR's D4D
well,
Combine.
technically today by the time they watch it.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yes, so I will be in Central Florida recruiting. What are some things that I should be looking for in athletes who want to make that transition to NASCAR, or maybe sway them into making that transition? What are some things that I could point out to them?
Well, I think the first thing we look for is a good person. You know, bottom line. Character, you know, growth-minded, open-minded, you know, strong work ethics. Without the fundamentals, the physical doesn't matter. They're not going to succeed.
Wow. That's huge, because a lot of people think, you know, I've got the ability physically.
It's not just about that.
Right.
And if you're all about yourself, it's not going to work in a team environment, especially in a small 5-man team environment.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
All right, well, we've got more with these guys and more wisdom for them to bestow upon us. Right after this, we'll be back with more MRN Crew Call.
Chris Crockett, straight from the NASCAR stands, here with another member of our Toyota racing family, Jason.
Hi there.
Oh, you seem impatient.
Oh, well, I've been holding it in for a while.
A while?
Since it started.
The race?
No, the season.
Wow, guess you don't want to miss any action.
Nope, I don't.
Oh, did you just see Denny Hamlin take the lead?
I haven't taken my eyes off him.
Jason, you don't look so good. Can I offer you some water?
Absolutely not.
NASCAR and Toyota Racing. With a family like this, who knows the places we'll go in the playoffs? Learn more at toyotaracing.com. Toyota, let's go places. NASCAR is a registered trademark of the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, Inc.
Clutch Coffee Bar in Mooresville, North Carolina is redefining the drive-through coffee game in Race City, USA. The Clutch experience is quick, efficient, and personal. Unmatched customer service is the name of the game. Clutch Coffee Bar offers signature espresso drinks, classic coffee, custom-flavored infused energy drinks, smoothies, and more. With over 25 flavors, there's something for everyone. Visit our 2 locations in Mooresville, 356 Williamson Road and 154 West Plaza Drive. Open daily 5 a.m. till 9 p.m. Power up today with Clutch Coffee Bar.
Things happen fast in racing, and if you don't know where to look, you can miss it all. With Legend from Racing Electronics, you'll never miss another moment. Legend gives you live fan vision video, in-car cameras, and stats at NASCAR and other Premier Series events. And the next generation race scanner for unfiltered driver and crew audio at any motorsports event nationwide. NASCAR fans have never been closer to the action. Welcome to the future of the fan experience. Learn more by visiting racingelectronics.com.
This is MRN Crew Call. For English, press 1. Hello, we're chuffed to the pieces you've dropped by, love. We have more bits and bobs in store as we chin wag with this lass and laddie. Here's Sammi, Joe, and Rocko.
Welcome back to MRN Crew Call, presented by Hercules Tires and Grunt Style Apparel. I'm Sammi Jo Francis.
Roush Fenway is in the house.
That's Rocko Williams.
Roush Fenway.
Yes, Roush Fenway is taking over our show.
They're in here.
Giving us all the insider scoop. We were talking a little bit about what you look for when you go to, you know, these colleges, and it's not all about physicality. It's a lot mental as well.
You said character was one.
Character's huge. How much input do you guys have on who you recruit?
I think that, like I said earlier, as a group, as a coaching staff, you know, we talk about each individual recruit. You know what I mean? Even when we recruit guys and we've had them for a year or two, we're continually evaluating them, how they're progressing, not only from a performance standpoint, but also how they interact with their peers, with their teammates. You know, what their work ethic is like. Do they show up on time? You know, that's one of the big things for some of these guys.
And I can relate to this year. Isn't this a busy time recruiting-wise for? Aren't y'all thinking about next year?
We're in the 2019 mode right now, absolutely.
Wow.
So even though we haven't finished the year. Well, it's evaluating the individuals we brought into the program this year and determining who will be back next year, and also recruiting for new positions.
How long if they're in the program right now, how long would you keep them before deciding we're going to put you on a team or we're going to keep you in this training circuit?
I don't believe there's a set time frame for each position. What
you kind of just go case by case.
We look for in each individual, are they progressing? Are they, you know, incrementally improving?
Yeah.
You know, if they flatline and we put a lot of effort into it and they do as well and we can't see that improvement, those are those tough conversations that you have to have.
Yeah, and it all depends on what our needs are as well. You know, we help out a lot of other teams out there, race teams out there with our pit crews. So if there's not a demand for more pit crew guys, it's just there's no sense in
right.
continuing to grow our whole program.
Supply and demand.
That's right.
Back to the basics.
Let's talk about the crews you have now with the 6 and the 17. Let's talk about the different personalities of those two teams. If you were to describe the 6 car and compare it to the 17 car, both of y'all, how would y'all do that?
I think one of them is going to be biased in this answer.
Yeah, Scott, you answer first.
Oh, no, it's totally different.
Scott, you answer first.
The 6 crew is a younger group.
Okay.
They're probably more outwardly enthusiastic than the 17. The 17 is a group of veterans, and they're something special.
He didn't say old, he said veteran.
Right.
Seasoned.
Aged like a fine wine.
Yes. But they do have distinct personalities. There's no doubt about it.
So are they more reserved, the 17 crew?
Oh, no, I wouldn't
Maybe
call
bullheaded,
it reserved.
Hard-headed?
Bullheaded.
I'm doing it my way.
My wife.
Leave me alone. I know how to do this.
Yes. No, I think if you go and look at the combined years experience on the 17, it's a group that's been there and done that, and they continue to do that. On the 6, it's younger, and they're still finding their way.
How is your crew
from that standpoint of doing it week in and week out?
Okay.
Right, and that's the tough part. The tough part of the sport is I can go do 1 stop, I can do 4 stops. Can I do, if there's 6 stops that day, can I do 6 stops that day, and can I do that
consistently
38 times a year?
Yeah.
Sure.
Right, that's the difference, and that's a challenge.
How have they handled the Kenseth-Bain swap when that came about? Having your driver switch in the middle of the year, or back and forth.
I think that's going well.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I do. They've Matt gets in the box really well, and so does Trevor. Both drivers are actually very similar in how they attack the box, so that's been a good transition.
That's perfect that you say that, because I wanted to talk about getting in and out of the box, and if I can show you your drivers that you have for your team in your Xfinity Series and your Cup teams, we have a graphic up showcasing the 60 car, the 6 car, the 17 and the 6, and in the 60 car you have.
So that's Cup Series and Xfinity?
Well, we're talking Xfinity first. In the Xfinity Series on the 60 car, that ride is shared with 3 drivers: Ty Majeski, Chase Briscoe, and Austin Cindric, and then you have the 16 with Ryan Reed. And then on your Cup Series, of course, as you stated before, you have your Trevor Bayne in the 6, and then Matt Kenseth and Ricky Stenhouse share the ride Ricky Stenhouse in the 17, Kenseth and Trevor share the 6. And you talked a little bit of how Trevor and Matt get in the box. How's Ricky getting in the box? He's an experienced driver as well? Or
I think he gets in the box very well. I mean, I've been the jackman for him all year. Actually, coming into this season, I was told, he can be a little bit here, a little bit there, depending on the track. But I think he does a very good job.
Why is that important?
Overall.
I mention that because that's important to what we do. Why? How so?
No, it's very important. I mean, you only have a limited amount of time to do a pit stop, and if you can anticipate where the driver's going to stop, that gives you an advantage. So, but if you're on your heels constantly and he's stopping in different spots every stop, it's very hard to anticipate.
It's not coming into the stop at 5 miles per hour.
I
mean, you're flying in there, so the consistency really is key.
That's right.
How about that 60 Xfinity team having 3 different drivers in that car?
Sure.
What are the differences between those drivers that you hear, that you maybe see on film as it relates to how they get in the box?
Well, I think Brad addressed it a little bit in what he said earlier. On that 60 car, we've got younger drivers. So the crew is a little bit on their heels. You don't know where the car is going to stop. It's not as consistent versus the 16, Ryan Reed, who is a veteran in the Xfinity Series. He's got that part down.
So how do you coach to adjust to that, to adapt to that? How do you coach?
Let me answer that first.
Okay.
Because, that just is always
He's very angry.
That has fired me up when I was pitting over the wall, and it's one of those things that goes unnoticed or underappreciated on how pit crews react to that. And the drivers, they have a limited amount of time to practice coming in and learning how to come in to that pit box. They might do it at practice a little bit on Fridays, but the younger drivers, you might even have them come out to pit practice and practice there, but it's not the same. So when you see a slow stop on pit road, don't always be so quick to judge the crew members on why. It could be a wheel turn.
I feel like you're in your feelings a little bit.
It could be the driver is too close to the wall. It could be 2 inches too far, but that never goes acknowledged. It's just, it's a slow stop. Am I correct? So, I mean, hey, anyways, I get off my
Let me go back to my question of
Yeah,
how
let
do
me
you coach to adapt to that situation? Because you're right, you can only practice.
Fire the driver.
And have these other
That's what I would do.
These other elements come into play when you're at the track. How do you coach to that?
Well, you practice it. I mean, you have to practice inconsistencies of a driver. So you almost do it on purpose when we practice, just to make sure that guys aren't getting too used to stopping in the same spot every time. You know, of course, you know, in a perfect world, we do that in practice all day, have the same stops. But to do that in practice is almost teasing you, thinking that that's what's going to happen at the race. So we have to do that in practice. We have to mimic that variety of different spots, you know, even coming around cars, because that's definitely a different look, you know, for pit crews as drivers come into the pit box.
Do you think having a competitive personality can work against you for these younger guys? I'm very competitive, and I feel like if that were the case, I would get frustrated. Do you think that can work against you?
I mean, if you're not competitive in this sport, you're not going to succeed. But absolutely, it can be a downfall. It can be destructive. But that's part of being a good pit crew guy. You have to be composed. You're going to have bad pit stops, and you're going to get down on yourself.
Or pit crew girl.
Yeah.
But how? Yeah, that's right. That's right. But how you respond to that, the next pit stop, is what really defines you and what sort of career you're going to have. You know.
Okay, so to follow up, because we talk a lot about this, about the mental ability, how do you teach that resilience to go, brush it off, you got a next stop?
You have it or you don't. I don't think you can teach that.
Why are you so salty today?
Man, I'm fired up.
That's what you're being for Halloween. I'll be pepper, you can be salt.
I can be some salt.
You're a day earlier. You're a day earlier today.
You'll look for guys who kind of have that initially, right? I mean, can you really coach that? I mean, you can moderate it or you can adjust to it, but
I think you have to emphasize it.
Yeah.
We talk about it quite a bit.
Yeah.
The mental side of what we do, because it's so important.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, if you take a look at our 60 car, we have 3 different drivers. Brad will tell you he's used to Ricky. He knows how Ricky's going to nose in. He knows when he's going to stop short, where that's probably going to be. On the 60, it's a little bit more challenging because you don't have the same driver week after week after week. So you're back on your heels. We practice it that way as we talked. The guys have to have organizational awareness of what we're doing. We're developing drivers and understand the big picture that's involved and not get too caught up in the X's and O's of the stopwatch necessarily. But the key we focus on, did you go do the fundamentals correctly and control what you could control? And that's the key. We can't control if the tar comes in too close to the wall, but we can control what we do and how we react to it. So
we can just get upset about it and vent on Crew Call about it.
That's right. We're gonna coach him back to stability, and we'll be back with more MRN Crew Call right after this.
Grunt style. The American fighting spirit is in everything we make. We are 500 patriots and veterans strong, bringing clothing manufacturing back to the United States of America. Always moving forward, never retreating, never giving up. We are Grunt Style, and this we'll defend. Get yours at gruntstyle.com.
You're smart, got your own trucking business, making it happen. What if I told you there was a place online where you could connect with other smart owner-operators just like you? It's an online community called Team Run Smart, where people share advice on truck maintenance, fuel savings, healthy habits on the road, and so much more, all to make your business more profitable. And it's all free. Visit teamrunsmart.com today to check it out. You'll be glad you did. teamrunsmart.com, brought to you by Freightliner Trucks.
This fall, experience the suspense as heroes clash metal to metal with heartbreak. Get lost in a drama without the predictable ending. No sappy romance, no special effects. Just one adrenaline-filled day where pure speed drives the plot. Coming soon to a track near you. The Hollywood Casino 400 Playoff Elimination Race, only at Kansas Speedway, October 21st. Tickets at kansasspeedway.com. Rated U for unexpected.
You've reached MRN Crew Call. Please deposit 25 cents to be upgraded to more quality programming. Otherwise, hold for Sammi, Joe, and Rocko.
Welcome back to MRN Crew Call. She said hold for more quality programming. If they don't like us, this is all quality. I'm Sammi Joe Francis. That's Rocko Williams. We've got Scott Bowen and Brad Robison in the house. Now I'm paranoid about saying it wrong. Have you guys been to Clutch Coffee Bar?
I have.
It is phenomenal. If you haven't, you need to go, and here's why.
It's my favorite part of the show. We have the clutch performance of the week, and it goes to the number 10, driven by Eric Almirola. I have the front tire carrier, the jackman, and the fueler. John Bernal, Brett Morrell, Jeremy Howard. The 2 tire changers won this award 2 weeks ago for their performance.
I was going to say, this feels like deja vu.
But, they won for finishing in the top 5 in adverse conditions, but 2 weeks later, actually winning the race, not the first win for Eric Almirola, I think 500 plus races. It's a big deal for the sport, a big deal for that team. When you're racing with monsters like Kevin Harvick and Clint Boyd. I'm just so happy for Eric Almirola and that pit crew who fought through a lot of adversity all year, going through pit crew changes and just able to maintain.
So essentially what we're saying is the whole crew is clutch.
Now they are. They are clutch.
He's making it rain-free coffee cards all over you guys.
They're going to the second round or the third round, whatever round. They're going to the next round of the playoffs, and that is big for that team. I'm very excited for those guys, and I will find you on the slaw cam and hand you your clutch vouchers.
It's late in the season, so you'll need coffee from Clutch Coffee Bar.
I'll come see you. I'll come find you. We get some pumpkin coffee.
That is frightening. I'll come find you. All right, guys, it is late in the season, going into the last couple races of the playoffs. What are we thinking?
We're taking these last 5 and challenging our guys to finish out the year strong. We're not taking it as if, we're just going to, ride this wave out. So,
Absolutely.
We're taking an aggressive approach and want to finish on a high note.
Well, we've talked before about development, me coaching development crews, and I always tell those guys your first impression is what gets you the job. Your last impression is what keeps you a job. So this is an opportunity for all of our crews from bottom all the way to the top to give a really good last impression on this season and create momentum in the next year.
Absolutely. All right, well, let's create some momentum for our MRN coverage. Pole qualifying will be Friday at 7 p.m. And then we've got the Xfinity Series, the Kansas Lottery 300. That's Saturday at 2:30. And on Sunday, we've got the Cup Series, Hollywood Casino 400. And that coverage starts at 1:30.
Kansas.
What do you think of Kansas?
I like Kansas.
No, this is no longer a week off. These stops are back up to pace.
Yes, it is.
No, I like Kansas, right? Yeah. It's cars are pitable usually.
What are you thinking as going into war, going into battle, putting on your fire suit?
Man, I'm looking to transition from speedway racing to regular racing now.
Actually
going to a mile and a half and really battling it out. Pit crews definitely matter there.
Yep.
We're going to be called upon several times over the course of the race, and I feel good about it.
That's awesome.
That's his focus face. That's what we call that.
I like it.
All right, well, we'll be rooting for you, all of the Roush Fenway peeps.
Yes.
For the Cat in the Hat. Anyways, we'll have more MRN Crew Call next week. Please join us, and we'll see if you guys become our Clutch Coffee Performer of the Week.
Thank you very much.
All right, we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
The best.